Good morning, afternoon, everybody. My name is Cory and you're listening to the Story Podcast. Today, I have on a super awesome guest, Mr. Ronnie on Saturn. Ronnie,
Yeah,
how you doing today?
doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a hot second.
Yep.
Also, before we get into this, I want to say you should see Sound of Freedom, the movie. Have you seen Sound of Freedom? Have you heard of that movie?
I heard of it actually this week. I have not seen it yet, but
It's really great. You're gonna cry.
yeah.
Go see it.
Yep.
Anyway, so getting into Ronnie on Saturn. What is Ronnie on Saturn, and how would you describe it? Why is Ronnie? Why is on Saturn?
Well, that's my favorite planet. So that's kind of where the Saturn thing came from. But Ronnie on Saturn we're a pop duo. Started summer of last year. We make kind of energetic pop house music, and we do a couple other different genres tied in. But yeah, we've been grinding away for almost a year now, and just having fun with it and making good music, and got a good fan base. So
Nice.
yeah, that's kind of like where we're at right now. It's just growth, just getting through the beginning stages of making it a business and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're having fun.
So where did you fall in love with music?
um, the first moment I fell in love with music, I actually was the day Michael Jackson died. That was the very first day I actually fell in love with music, and my stepmom showed me the Thriller music video, and that completely changed my life.
Interesting. How about
Yeah.
you, Pat?
Oh man, I fell in love with music. Well, I started playing piano at 8 years old. And for me, I think it was really like actually rock music was my initial thing that I fell in love with. So I started listening, playing guitar, and from there, that journey has just led me to now doing electronic music. So it's always just been like a big love of like making sounds and playing music, and it's just the feeling you get inside when you're playing an instrument or writing a song. It's like indescribable.
Mhm.
Nice. So I'm gonna assume you've been doing this longer than Ronnie has.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When did you first start?
Me, well, I started playing piano at 8. Oh, you mean like playing in
Like,
bands or 15 was my first band. That was
okay.
like punk rock bands, and from there it led to, metal bands, and I didn't actually start doing like house and electronic music until I was like maybe 22, 23. I started dabbling with it and I sucked at it for a while, but I just kept going with it, and now we're making the music that we're making.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so Ronnie, when did you start thinking? I mean, this is really, really recent for you.
Yeah, yeah, the whole, actual making of music is very new to me, but I always had that desire to do it. It was more so getting over that early age, stage fright and being, very stage shy and not really believing I could do it, and, yeah, I tried to form bands and stuff in my early 20s, but that was just never really felt the way for me. And once I met Pat, it was kinda just one of those things where everything came together and it was like, this is the perfect opportunity. So, ever since I was about 14, 15, I wrote songs, wrote lyrics, did all that kinda stuff. Did karaoke ever since I was 21, like, multiple times a week, and, just kinda got used to being in front of people, and through that, that's kinda how it's wild to think, how everything came together with it, but yeah.
What is your songwriting process like?
Um, so typically what we've been doing is Pat will send me like an instrumental and I will write lyrics to it. If I already have lyrics written, I will kind of surf through them to an instrumental he sends me and try and piece it together that way. But we kind of, well, at least me, I don't really have a way I like to write music. Like sometimes it's just one of those things where I'll just come up with lyrics and, right now we're trying to build a song kind of from scratch, which is something we haven't done yet together, like the actual instrumentals. So don't really have a process, I would say yet. It's kind of just how it comes about, but
I think
yeah.
generally, yeah, it starts with like the music, or at least even if it's not a complete idea, it's like he gets a demo, like I send him a demo, and then he writes it. We come over, we track the vocals from there. That's like where it's been going, but we are trying to expand our writing process, as he was saying. Just trying out different ways of writing, just so we don't get stuck in like making songs that all sound the same by using the same process. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's very true because you have a very distinct sound already.
Mhm.
Tell me, what is the creation of that sound? I guess that's more of a you question. Where did that sound come from?
Well, what's interesting is before I met Ronnie, I had been making a ton of like house beats and stuff, but I didn't have anything to do with them. And I would hit people up to try and sing on them. It either didn't work out, they weren't seriously. So I had known Ronnie, and when I sent him the instrumental to "Breathe in This Love," I remember he emailed me like his idea. It was just him singing into his phone, like rough it, but I heard like the melody and where the idea was, and I was like instantly, I was like, when can you come over and we're gonna record this? And we spent like, how long did we spend on that song? Like we spent a
4 to
ungodly
5
amount of
months. Yeah,
like a long time just perfecting little things, like just little things that bugged us about it. And I think like that's what made people like the song so much, was they could sense how much time we spent on making that piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It sounds really good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what was the inspiration for Breathing This Love?
Well, it's actually really funny. So to kind of touch on what he just said, he actually sent me that instrumental at like, I would say it was like 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was up and, I had a couple drinks and stuff like that. But it was kind of one of those things where once I heard it, I was like, I got to write something to this now. And by the time like 4:00 came in the morning, I like ended up having it all done, wrote the lyrics. Didn't really come, like the lyrics didn't really come from anywhere. It was more so like, that's what I try and tell people. It's sometimes there's an emotion, sometimes there's a story like in your head that like you build the lyrics off of. But for that song and a couple of my other songs, it's one of those things where that's just the story that popped into my head. Breathing this love, And yeah, I put it together and sent it over to him, and the rest is history. But we did work on that for a long time.
Yeah.
Hours upon hours. Well,
We
days,
even had
I mean.
an alternate version with the same chorus, just slightly different timing that the vocals would start.
Mm-hmm.
And we were playing back and forth with this and the way it would sync with the bass line. And eventually we settled with, it was actually Ronnie's idea. Great choice by him. But we had a long debate on that. But yeah, just I think it's about trying stuff and not just getting so hung up on when you make something like this is it. Like you can try some other things and you can always go back to the original idea you had. You don't have to get stuck. But music is about trying things out and being creative
and taking your time.
Yeah.
Like you never have to rush it. Like you never have to rush a song like to get it out to people. Like just take your time, and when you're happy with it, you're happy with it, and that's when you release it. Never rush,
so to speak.
So are you guys planning an album?
Yeah, that's something in the works.
Well,
that's for sure.
We'll talk about that later a little bit.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the process of the EP, because you had this in February, and then you had your EP release June, was it?
The Phantom Power, was it Phantom Power?
It was Phantom Power.
Yeah. I guess that was. Is that
Was it
May or June?
I think it was May.
I think it might have been May.
Yeah.
We should know this.
Yeah, it's like May 10th or close to the 10th. I
it
think,
all runs
7th.
together
Yeah.
sometimes.
It does. Yeah.
So you had February, then the next month you released your EP. What was that like? Did you guys have it all worked out? Because marketing and stuff, right?
So the EP came out a couple months after. Yeah. So
I think it was April, right?
Yeah.
I'm
April
an
and
idiot.
May.
That's right.
No, you're good.
March is after.
It all bleeds
February.
together.
Yeah. The two M's. Yeah,
Yeah,
that can
yeah,
get tricky. But we did release I think Sweet Dreams was Fantasy the next song.
We did
after.
Fantasy.
Yeah, Fantasy, and then we did Sweet Dreams. So we kind of did a couple singles in between, just to kind of give the fans more than one song to listen to while we worked on the EP. But that was like the main reason for the EP. It was one of the things where fans were asking for, hey, we want to hear more stuff. And we worked tirelessly on that EP. I'm talking like hours and hours a day, like almost every day, just trying to piece that together just for those few songs. So that kind of motivated us though to get some stuff out for
the
everybody.
gap was very short. So I think we definitely we were working basically like he was over every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We were just like, it was unreal. Like we don't like to do that, but we did it, and I'm glad we did. But yeah, it was a lot of just like grinding.
Yeah, and you talked about like the marketing stuff. Like we didn't even have a lot of time to really dive deep into that as much as we would have liked. But it's kind of one of those things you got to just keep going and doing stuff. When you have time to do certain things. Now, obviously, we learned from that, and that's something we want to do going forward. Have more of a marketing plan for a project that is that big. But ultimately, it turned out pretty well. We're happy with it. Everybody else seems to really like it. So, now it's on to the bigger things. After the EP, we have a couple things we're working on now. So, just kind of keep going. Yeah.
So we'll get to that for sure, but I want to get to, you did a few cover songs. Yeah. Or is it just Sweet Dreams?
Well, just Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, Sweet Dreams, but live we do a Steve Aoki.
Yeah, Are You Lonely by Steve Aoki.
and you
Yeah,
really
that's
make it
true.
into your own sound too.
Well, yeah, somewhat. I mean, we might do an actual cover of that where we like remake
Mhm.
everything. Currently we're not doing that for the live, but we might do it down the road.
Yeah.
People have been asking for it,
Yeah,
so
people really want us to do a cover of that one, and that personally, that is one of my favorite songs to perform on our set. Like, I love
he
that.
loves
Very I
that.
love doing it. It's very dance heavy and stuff like
I
that,
can't
so
tell
I
you how many
really like
sets
it.
I say, let's we'll cut that one today, and Ronnie's like, no, I love
Nope,
that one.
we
So
gotta do it.
that one's
Yeah.
always in there.
So tell me a bit about the process of recreating Sweet Dreams.
I love this story.
Dude, this story's great.
So, like, I just had a beat, like, that I had made, and Ronnie was over at my house, and we were finishing up, like, I think it was one of the songs on the EP or something, and I showed him, I said, "Hey, like, what do you think about this beat or whatever?" So I grabbed an acoustic guitar, I was like, "I think we could add some guitar to this," you know? So I started, like, playing the guitar along with the song, and I was like, "Dude," I said, "this sounds just like Sweet Dreams." And he was like, he started singing along to it, and then he's like, "Well, let's record the vocals." And I was like, "All right," I thought he meant like next week or something. I was like, "Wait, like right now?" He's like, "Yeah, right now." So I grabbed the mic, we plugged it in, and we literally, I had to leave like in like 15 minutes. We tracked the vocals for the song in like 15 minutes, and then we did the editing later that night and stuff. But so the whole thing kind of was an accident,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's one of our favorite songs to do.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's so wild how that came about, like, how quickly, like, you're talking 15, 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, we had a song,
yeah,
you know? It was wild, but that one is very fun to do. It was very fun to make and go through that experience, even though it was very short,
yeah,
just the
yeah.
making of it, it was just really cool. It's always gonna be a cool story to tell, just how quickly that came about.
And I guess that's an example of how we didn't use our usual process of like
Yeah.
me sending him. He didn't have time. It was just.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And
that's
then you also have a video to it too. What was that process like?
that process. I have a YouTube channel called Purple Park Studios where I do a lot of like 3D animation and stuff. And so I had like a lot of clips and stuff that I hadn't really used for anything. And we kind of just threw a bunch of the 3D clips together.
Mhm.
And I did have like a longer storyline to something going on. So it's a little bit of the cartoony 3D stuff, but we felt it was like kind of cool for the video. It just gave it a weird vibe. So yeah,
Yeah, and, like, a lot of things we try and do like, with our videos, we try and do different things. Like, we
Right.
don't wanna, like, copy and paste what other people do, so when people watch that video, they're like, "What is this?" But that is just
That's the point.
yeah, that's the point. Like, we wanna stand out, be different, and we have a lot of big plans with the visuals and the music video stuff, so, that was kind of a little taste of how weird and wild we can get.
And so you did that in between your EP and your single release.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you all throughout this, you planned this gigantic show at Phantom Power. What all went into that? I know there was several costumes, uh, contacts. Those were they glow in the dark contacts that you had?
Yeah, I had black light contacts in, yeah.
Dude, tell me a little bit all about like dressing up the set, becoming Ronnie on Saturn.
So I definitely take that part of music obnoxiously seriously. Pat will
he does.
definitely vouch for that. That is one thing I absolutely love. Like creating music, love it, obviously. Like that's what we do. But when it comes to the live sets, we have our people out there, and for me, it's like they listen to the music, they buy the merch, they stream the songs, all that kind of stuff. I need to make sure I'm giving them the absolute best show I possibly can. Theatrics, outfit changes, all that stuff. If I'm not doing all those little things, I will leave that show feeling like I could have done more, So, yeah, a lot went into it. We had visuals and stuff like that where we had somebody in the back running the visuals. That took a long time actually making those
Yeah,
the visuals for that.
and that's again we did that like maybe 2 days before the show, so it was a lot of
Yeah.
work. Like yeah,
But yeah, like the costumes and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where I'll be like laying awake at night and just like I gotta like get an outfit for this particular song. And then I'll spend like 2, 3 hours just on websites just trying to find an outfit that fits the songs. Um Black light contacts, I love black lights, so that was kind of a given. That will always be a part of our set. Like those kind of things and just being different, being unique, especially locally here, we want to put on the best shows. Like that is the main thing, and we will do everything we can to make sure our shows are top notch. So
Where'd you get your astronaut helmet from?
Spirit Halloween.
I was not expecting that, honestly.
Yep. Spirit Halloween. So it's actually really funny. So I actually got that helmet maybe like a couple days after I came up with the Ronnie on Saturn name. So I was getting ready to go to a Halloween party, and they were like, "Well, you got to dress up." And I'm like, "What do I get? What do I get?" And I went to Spirit Halloween, and I saw an astronaut helmet, and I had this like fluffy type of jacket that looked kind of like a spacesuit, and I was just like, you know what? I'll wear this and just get a astronaut helmet. Plus, I can use it on stage and stuff. And that's kind of where the intro came from, because once I had that helmet, I'm like, well, I got to do something with this. So for our sets, I'll come out like with fog going and like walk out of the fog in an astronaut helmet. And at the end of the set, I typically put it back on and walk out. But yeah, got it from Spirit Halloween for like $25. Not a bad purchase.
What a very, very, very unique way of
I
using
know.
an astronaut helmet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like Amazon or like something like that.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't even think I knew that.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ended up just getting it for a Halloween party, and then just realized I could use it for the set.
So Pat, what were you doing during the entire show?
I was back there. I had some keyboard. I had my little drum machine, and then monitoring like overall sound and stuff, because we basically all our set is most of the things aside from maybe the vocals, we might let like the house sound guy handle that, but most of our sets pre-mixed. So like the keyboards, the drum machines, everything is already mixed. So we can basically just hand the sound guy a chord, and then we have our mix so it sounds like our music. We don't have to worry about somebody else that doesn't know our music mixing it. So it's just it's an easy way to like, because again, like what Ronnie was saying, when people come to the show, they're coming to hear the songs that they fell in love with. So we want to make sure we can give that to them. That's just, yeah, essentially that's that.
I'm sure
yeah.
some guys love you or they hate you.
They actually do like us. That's they really like it, because we're not, not yet. We're not lugging like a drum kit on and stuff, which that could be something down the road. We could bring in
sure,
some more players and try and incorporate more live instruments, because I know we're a very heavy electronic sound, but we want to incorporate more of the live feel into our set in the future.
So are you playing or do you have backing tracks?
We do a combination of both. So we'll have tracks, and for some, because I can't play 5 keyboards at once,
Right, of course.
So I'll have my keyboard there, and then I'll have the drum machine, and I'm doing stuff with the drums. But we have it set up so I have the option for different tracks. I know where I need to be, so I might have drums in tracks for something, so I can go play the keyboard. But then again, that's just, I think, when we get to a point where we could have maybe like 2 keyboardists up there and a drummer,
Right.
It'll be a different story then. So kind of doing what we have to do right now. And the only other thing I would say about that is I think it does make the act a little dynamic, because we can go into a live setting and play with like live instruments, or we can go into a club with a DJ mixer and a microphone. And that just opens up the door for us to be able to get more shows.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was the process behind building this EP? Is it like a concept EP or is it just a collection of songs? What was the process behind all that?
I would say a transition into some darker theme stuff.
Yeah, definitely like a lot of dark pop. You kind of get that vibe for some of the songs, but I think it was us really trying to figure out where we wanted to go with our sound, and working on the EP and working on multiple songs, because like with Breathing This Love, that took months to make, and that was pretty much what our sound was. Obviously, we made Fantasy, Sweet Dreams and stuff, but the EP really, I think, helped us get on the same page with what we wanted our sound to be.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to be ever changing. We'll stay true to our roots and stuff like that, but it is one of those things where that EP really helped us define, what we wanted to do and type of sound we wanted to have.
And even gave us more practice working together and writing together, because aside from Breathing This Up, we had never worked on music before in our lives together. So
Yeah.
What was that when you first, like, how was that like when you first came into the room with each other? And was it like, oh no, it's gonna work out? Or
when he started singing, when I plugged in the microphone, I didn't know, but apparently he said he was super nervous.
Oh, yeah.
But when he started singing, I remember he was behind me, and I heard him singing in the verse, and I don't know if people can see my face, but I was kind of just like, oh my god, yeah, like this is gonna be something else. And then I turned, I said, that was amazing. He's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh good. So I think like just that, like knowing that we were both on the same page, made the whole rest of the time go so much easier. I don't think there was ever an awkward moment in writing that track.
No, and one thing that's been really surprising is just how well we gel together in terms of like tweaking things. Like if I hear something and I point it out, he's very good at like breaking it down, like how we can change it, make it sound, because he obviously knows all the music terms and stuff, and I'm still learning a lot of that side of music. So
that's the nerd.
Yeah, he is.
Well,
He is
he's
definitely a learner.
learning that side of music, like all the terms and stuff, but he has a great ear, which is super
You do
valuable
have a
for
really great
me.
ear, actually.
He'll
Yeah.
hear
Thank
things
you.
that I don't even hear sometimes. You know what I mean? And like, and then he'll point it out, and it's so nice being able to have someone else in the studio with you that can pick out stuff, because when you're absorbing and critically listening to stuff, it's easy to overlook something.
And it's so easy to get numb.
Yeah, your ears will shut down at some point, and you literally stop hearing things. So it's very good to. I've had a friend of mine from New York. He told me, he said, work in like 30 minutes, which is hard for producers to do, but you do 30 minutes of mixing, and then you take a break and you walk away and you come back, and then you just go for like another 15 to 20, 30 minutes, and you just make the changes as you hear them, walk away, and then come back.
And
Mhm.
I've also been told this advice too, but to listen to it on different speakers, different ways.
Oh, 100%. In your car,
In your
on your
car.
phone, on
Yep.
your friend's phone, on your crappy headphones,
On the best headphones.
Yes, on the best ones. You have to do everything, because and that's more of a mastering thing, but the way sound translates, you want your song to sound as good as it possibly can on every single device it gets played on. And that's essentially what mastering a song is doing.
Yeah, you gotta think of the people actually listening to it. Once it gets released, like, some people will just strictly listen through
On
their
their
phone.
AirPods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, nowadays I think everyone listens to music and videos on their phones. You know what I
Mhm.
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's yeah.
Yep.
So, Escape. Why Escape? The debut album or the EP.
So we have the song "Escape" on there, and from what I remember, we were kinda struggling for a little bit that day when we were trying to figure out what we should call the EP, and, it was one of those things where, like, Escape kind of just made sense with the brand, like, the Ronnie on Saturn brand of space themed, and it was like, "Well, why don't we put a rocket ship as the cover art and then do Escape, and it's like a rocket ship taking off." So, that was pretty much, like, kinda how we came up with that,
Oh
and,
yeah.
yeah, just piecing the artwork together, it just became, like, a really fun process. That was actually really fun to
Yeah,
make.
I was thinking that as you're saying. I was hope you say that, because the artwork was really fun. We made that together, and I know I do a lot of stuff with, like, art and visuals, but Ronnie really played a massive role in making that art, like saying what he had in his mind, and then telling me like, I'll tweak this color or do that. Like, so I really give a lot of credit to him on helping design the artwork for the EP.
Mm.
And
He's the
so,
brains behind it.
No.
well, it's also your titular track, isn't it? Escape.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that? I missed the question. Sorry.
It's your the title track is Escape.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. What is that song about? Is that like a real life escape or?
So, yeah, that one actually does have kind of a story. So I was late it was late at night one night, and I was actually at work, and I was just trying to find a way to make a darker sounding song, like that kind of Billie Eilish, like, dancey type of vibe, like that darker type of sound, and I wanted the lyrics to kinda match it, and, I just remember certain experiences I've had through my life and helping my friends, talking to them about different things with relationships. One thing that kind of seems to always happen to people at some point in their life is they get stuck in a relationship that they don't wanna be in, and, like, the whole premise of Escape is, kind of being locked down, knowing it's toxic, knowing that it's probably not the right thing, and no matter what you try and do, you're never gonna get away until you kind of just obviously make that decision, but the whole premise of the song is just like you're gonna be stuck.
What's next for Ronnie on Saturn? What's coming up? What are you excited for? By the way, if anybody's watching and wants to ask questions to Ronnie on Saturn, please be sure to do that in the comments, and we'll definitely get around to them.
Yeah.
What show is coming up next that you guys would like to promote?
So we have 2 songs that we're working on right now, that should be done by then. We're really excited for that, but our next really big show is actually gonna be like a Halloween party. It's gonna be at Phantom Power, and, for those who were at the last one at Phantom Power, we had a lot of other plans to really make that even larger scale. We had, like, moons that we wanted to hang from the ceiling and stuff like that. So, we are going crazy hard on theming Phantom Power. They're letting us decorate the entire place to really make it like a Halloween party type of
Yeah.
vibe, which is really cool. Like, my car currently has, is filled with Halloween decorations.
That's
So,
great.
yeah. So we're excited for that. It's gonna be like a costume contest and a bunch of other things. We'll have some openers. We're trying to figure that stuff out right now, but that is gonna be the big one. That is October 20th. So
Well, be sure to tune in for that one because I'm excited for it because we had talked off air about like what your show was meant to be and all the stuff that you were hoping to include, and I'm really excited for it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really excited
Oh, yeah.
for the October stuff, especially with all the ways that you can incorporate Halloween in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think like every show we do that's like at a venue and stuff, like when it's like our own thing and we have control over it, like I think we just want to make them bigger, better, more props, eventually have dancers on
Yep.
stage with us, things like that. So I don't think that like anything we've done so far is definitely, we're not like, that's not what the show is. Like it's gonna get bigger and better every time.
For sure. And that's one thing we strive to do is be bigger and better every single show. But like this show, Pat knows I love Halloween. We have some big plans for Halloween every single year. Some announcements coming about that in the near future. But Halloween, this show, it is going to be one that if you attend it, you're not going to forget it. It's going to be wild. So
I'll be there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
yeah.
Actually, well, I might be in Nashville, but
Oh.
well, the reason is well, I'll give a little teaser. The Josie Music Awards are happening in Nashville
Okay.
that day, and I may or may not be pressed for that.
Well, congratulations. It sounds like a big
Well,
big
I
move.
may or may not be pressed. It's not been confirmed yet.
Okay. So I
Not
can't
been
quite
confirmed yet.
congratulate you
Can't
yet.
quite congratulate me.
Regardless, we will
Pending congratulations.
Pending congratulations.
we'll give you an exclusive live stream so you can
That'd be
kind of
great.
watch
Oh,
it from
yeah.
there.
Well, if I do not get the press opportunity, I'll definitely be there instead.
Hey, I don't blame you for missing our show going out to Nashville for this opportunity.
So, you guys are starting on working on an album.
Yeah, it's I mean, we've definitely started, but I wouldn't. Well, how would you consider it? I'll let you answer this one. I'll put
So
you on the spot.
yeah, so we have a plan for when like a goal like target, I guess you could say, like of when we want the album to be released. We don't really want to drop that yet because
fine.
obviously things can
Yeah.
change, but we have a plan. We're working on it, trying to figure out how we want to go about it. We might do maybe like some type of Kickstarter or something like that to where people have an opportunity to help fund the project, but also get like a ton of merch with it just for helping out, get signed copies. Cause definitely the next, like the album, our debut album, we want to do like physical copies and stuff. So
You're gonna
that'd
do
be the first.
vinyl?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to do vinyl.
Yeah,
I'm a big vinyl person.
and
So
I don't think that's something we could just like with the EP. It happened very fast, but I think we want to, actually have our ducks in a row as far as marketing and stuff for that. But yes, it's definitely happening, and yes, there will be songs that come out between now and when the album comes out.
yeah, and one thing I know for myself, I have to remind myself a lot, like not to put too much on our shoulders. Like
We do
because
that.
yeah, we do that a lot. Like we take it extremely seriously and we love everything that we're doing, but like sometimes it's like, let's do a Halloween show, a music video, like this, that, and the other
Let's
thing.
do
And it's like
everything that we can.
everything
time.
all at once. And it's
Yeah.
like you can't do that. So our main focus right now is finishing, the song or two that we have coming out for this year. Yet the Halloween show is definitely a big focus. And we're trying to film some music video stuff. So those are like the main focuses right now.
And then you have to add into that our singer-songwriter thing that we did as well.
Yes, which
Which-
I am very excited. Everybody listening, you're gonna love that song.
Yes,
It's gonna be
absolutely.
amazing.
Stay tuned. I'll give us our deadline of September,
Yeah.
September, November,
That's
September,
not
October. That's I'm just bad for months today.
I'm here for that. I like it.
Oh, I love it.
Anyway, we're gonna go to a time where I like to where I ask questions that I ask all my guests. So if you, those watching, have any questions for Ronnie on Saturn or the duo, please be sure to comment them down below. So you've just recently been performing live you've done a few shows live. What's one of the worst or best things that's ever happened to you on stage? And Pat, I think you have a lot more experience in this a little bit.
Yeah.
You might have something. I'll tell you one of the scariest things that ever happened to me.
Sure.
It was so we were at Phantom Power, right? And we were performing "Breathing This Love," and it was the first time we played it there. Everyone was going crazy. The lights were going like it was like the peak of the show. I look over at my laptop and it has the wheel of death, like the crashing, like it's gonna crash. And I was just like, oh no. And I remember I was on the keyboard or whatever I think I was on the keyboard and I'm just watching it the whole time and I'm just like, it's gonna go and somehow it made it to the end of the song, but I quickly, and then people started screaming like encore, so I quick rebooted my laptop like while Ronnie was talking. I don't think you even knew this was happening.
No
And I
idea.
somehow rebooted my laptop and was able to pull everything up and quick connect everything that needed to be like hooked up again. And then we were able to do a few more songs. But that was just a scary moment. Because imagine if that had crashed right in the middle of Breathing This Love.
That would have been wild.
That would have been, I mean, I'm sure
we would have made it work, but I'm telling you, that would have been wild.
So that was a petrifying moment.
And that was during the
Phantom Power, the EP, the big show, the one we just did.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, that's the peak of the show. That's everyone came to hear that song, and then it's like, don't crash.
Please don't crash.
So that was highly scary.
Yeah, another thing with that show too that was actually really funny. I'm sure you noticed it when you were there. We got to like the second song and we were blasting Fog. My buddy Frank, love him to death. He was just blasting that Fog, and
there was a
fire
few
alarm
funny
started
things
going
that
off.
happened that
Fire
show.
alarm, yeah.
Fire alarms.
It was really funny because sometimes it would be in the beat.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't even notice it at first. I thought it was
heard-
like a mic thing at
Yeah.
first, and I was like, "What is that?" And then like everybody was like kind of looking around, and apparently it was going off for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, it was going on for a
Wow.
while. So someone was there just like pressing stop, and it would go on again, stop, and it would go off again,
wow.
stop.
I could barely hear that from where I was. I think I briefly heard it, and I quick looked at a couple things to make sure that nothing was like, disconnected or something. And then I just went on and I didn't hear it. Maybe the speaker was nearby or something. But yeah, that I found out about that after the show, and I could not believe that.
Oh yeah, it was totally worth it though. And like Greg, the guy who runs Phantom Power, he was super nice about it. He's like, just use haze juice next time instead of actual fog juice, which is something I learned. Fog juice actually trips the infrared sensors for the fire alarms. So, but yeah, it was worth it. Everybody got a kick out of it. I'm
Some
pretty
great
sure
reels out of that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was just the coolest experience for something to go wrong. That being the thing that went wrong, and just everybody was just still vibing out. It was just funny.
That's better than Breathing This Love and all the instruments and the laptop and everything crashing.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
We'll take the fire alarm over that.
But also, you got pelted with like guitars and
the strap rope.
Bro, I thought I was playing dodgeball for a minute, man. Like I just kept getting hit in the face with glow sticks. It was so much fun though. Like, and that's one thing that we want to do with our shows is have people as engaged as possible. And obviously, there's going to come a point where our crowds are going to be so large. I don't want to get hit by like 400 glow sticks, the entire set. But if that's people's way of having fun, as long as they don't aim for the face, I'm good with it. But yeah, like they were throwing them up and we were throwing them back, so that was a lot of fun. The glow sticks were definitely
you did a
cool.
stage dive, which terrified the crap out of me.
Oh, man.
Because I was filming right next to where you jumped, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I will never not crowd surf. Like if I can at a show, I'm doing it.
It was so funny to me because I was watching you and you were starting to come over and then you just got this wild look in your eyes. I was like, oh, and you just died. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, when I'm up
Thankfully,
there,
someone caught you.
Oh yeah, and at one point when they went to put me down, like I almost fell on my head. Yeah, Frank caught me just before I went straight down on my head. So thankfully that happened. But there's actually a video of it on our social, which is it's just really funny. You almost see me go head first into the crowd.
We had a lot of things at that show. Like my guitar strap broke in the middle of, was it Sweet Dreams or something? Or no, Escape. Yeah, the guitar.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's an easy song. I was able to just prop up on one knee and play it. But yeah,
you got some good pictures from that too.
Yeah,
you were rating.
Yeah. But I wish I could have ran around a little longer. But.
Yeah. Well, we had a good little chant going after that.
Yeah.
F that strap. F that strap. People started yelling it. Oh, it was the funniest thing.
So, from Kirsten Dunn, what is your favorite part of performing? Ronnie, I'll let you answer first.
Seeing everybody sing along and smile and jump around and have fun. That means I'm doing my job. So, also, hi, Kirsten. But
yeah, and I think it's just when you're out there playing the music and you're vibing to it with other people, there's just no better feeling. You spend so much time on these songs, you have a vision, you want to share that with the world, and then when everyone comes together and can get on board with that, and you're just jamming out with everybody, that's the best feeling. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the best or biggest mistakes that maybe you have made or you see that in the industry made, and how can we curb that for the future?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anybody.
All right. Well, that's a tough question. I mean, I think with music, you're always like trying to learn, and like music is trial and error. So it's hard for me to like pinpoint a mistake. I guess, maybe rushing would be one thing, and I'm sure Ronnie could agree with me. Like
Yep.
everyone wants to get a song out, everyone wants to do it, but don't go like like don't make a song and like just put like if you really want to share something great, like spend the time to make sure that that song is exactly how your feelings and everything you want it. Like, don't just put it out because you want to get a song out there.
Yeah, once it's out, it's out.
Yeah,
But also at the same time, make sure you know when your song is finished.
exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you know when the song is ready to go out.
Right.
But it's a tough question though, because it's like sometimes, especially when you're starting out, like you might not know when a song's ready. You know what I mean? You might not know anyone that can tell you when the song's ready. So, you live and you learn.
It is a double side to
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
absolutely.
Hmm.
'Cause
yeah.
you can spend ages adjusting the snare, adjusting.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's literally endless.
Yeah,
We've done it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Especially with your guys's the way you kind of I don't know what you call it, but you splice up just the
yeah. The
beep
vocal
bop
chops
beep
and
up
yeah,
bop
yeah.
bop beep
Yep.
bop beep. Yeah,
Yep.
you can spend hours on that.
Oh yeah, you can, and I think like that is one thing that's so easy to get caught up in, and like you said, messing with the snares and stuff. And like I used to do that. I guess actually something did hit me. I think one of the biggest things would just be don't do too much to your song.
Oh yeah,
You can ruin a song and ruin a vibe by trying to add layers of synths, a couple different bass lines, just, too much stuff. Like keep it simple.
leave room.
Yeah, make it easy for people to understand what's happening in the song. They need to be able to understand what's going on for them to be able to enjoy the song. If there's too much stuff, it's going to just be too much information.
And people might not realize it, but it's overwhelming for their ears, so they
Yes.
might just like not like it and not really know why, but it's because it's so full of
There's
different
always
sounds.
there's always a problem with being too busy in a
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
song.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
There's always a possibility. We kind of answered this question a little bit beforehand, but from Jeremy Richardson, what sparked your passion for your craft?
You wanna start? You can
Sure.
start.
Yeah. I think when I was younger and stuff, I like a lot of teenagers do and stuff, I had like really bad depression and stuff. A lot of things in my life that, bugged me and stuff. And I think like music was a good way to like get some of that out. When I found I could like play guitar or play keyboard and like it was how I was feeling, it felt sad. Like to me, that was just like I didn't stop doing it. And I'm a lot older now than, I'm 28, I'm not 15 anymore. So, I'm still not making like super sad songs and stuff, to some degree. But I think it's nice to have that evolution of like any point in life, no matter how you're feeling, you can get your emotions out through music. So I would say it's really about that.
Yeah, yeah. What's up, Jeremy? So I guess what I would say is for me, I ever since I was little, before I even wanted to get into music, I always felt like I wanted to like help the world in some way, like just do things that when I'm off this earth, I can be like, hey, I provided some kind of good that is long lasting. So I never really figured out the avenue until, like I said, with the Michael Jackson thing, seeing Thriller, and then diving into his music. Man in the Mirror was another thing that changed my life. Like, if you haven't seen that music video, watch that music video. It will make you teary eyed. And that was what really inspired me to really get into music, because I realized, hey, I can actually use this as a platform to really provide good in the world, do charity work, all that kind of stuff, inspire people to be good people. So just kind of using that as a platform to really spread that message. That's a big reason why I got into music.
So, as an artist, as a composer, what are some of the techniques that you are still working on?
I mean, I think with every song you do, you want it to be better quality, So I think it's just, always getting the best sounding track that you possibly can. And you'll listen to mixes you've done and stuff, and you're like, oh, maybe it was a little muddy here, or a little. So I think like just improving overall on like production quality, so that it translates well on any system it's played on. Crispy highs, fat lows, and then a nice clean clear mid. That just making the overall mixes better.
Yeah, and for me, it's like understanding the terminology. Like, that is a big thing I'm trying to learn. Just so like when I get with Pat, I can give my input and know what the hell I'm talking about. So,
Right.
And I guess to answer, I guess it gave more of a production, more of a than a composition answer. But I would say for composing, it's actually to keep the songs a little more simple, if that's which is a very hard thing to do.
It's so
It's
hard.
so hard to keep your stuff simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, kids.
exactly.
So, last few questions, unless anybody has any others. What is one thing that you know now that you wish you had known when you first started?
I don't know. I have to think about it. Do you got anything?
I'm just gonna go back to less is more. I again, I have a producer friend from New York who was nice enough to help me. I would send him songs and stuff over the years, and he would give me feedback. And I remember the one day he took a listen to one of the songs I sent, and he said, "It's good, it sounds great." He said, "But you have one major problem." He said, "You do too much." So, and that just hit me when he told me that. I was like, because I cared about being a good producer. So I started trying, and it's very hard to do less. I challenge anyone out there that produces, go try and make a very simple song that sounds good. It's tough, so I wish from the beginning I had learned that less is often more.
Yeah, and I think for me, like one thing I kind of wish I would have done, we touched on it earlier, is just don't overwhelm yourself. Like do not try and do too much. Be a little more organized. I think that really helps out a lot when
Especially as musicians.
Yeah, when you know what you're doing when you're doing it, because doing music now, I mean, it's not like in the 80s and stuff like that where you get signed by a record label and like they help you with everything. Like a lot of us have to do it ourselves because the market's so saturated. Record labels can't just sign everybody. So you got to understand the marketing. You got to, theme our whole shows, which is something we do that's different. A lot of artists will get booked at venues. We try and like book the openers and like really just make it our own event essentially. So doing that, writing the music, figuring out how to promote it. Like one thing I'm learning right now is like Facebook pixels and like ad targeting. So trying to learn all that stuff, it can get very overwhelming, but just stay organized. Plan out your weeks, what you're going to focus on. That way, your mind's not too cluttered.
Where can people find you guys at?
So you can find us at Ronnie on Saturn, pretty much every social platform. That's what it is, at Ronnie on Saturn. Also, RonnieOnSaturn.com. You can feel free to sign up for our VIP club. That's a text club. It's completely free. But when we drop merch, have, tickets coming out for like the October show and stuff, everybody will get a text and, be notified of that so you can grab it before, everybody else does. It's kind of cool. So we got that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like the website and the social media, but I'm not going to give you all my phone number to call me.
No, I want it. I want it. Well, with all that said, this has been a Story Podcast. You can find us and the Story Podcast over at CoryRosenProductions.com. That's CoryRosen Productions.com. We have a plethora of things to offer. We have our single reviews and album reviews, which I don't think you might have known about. We have those shows where you grab a random artist from the area, plop them here, and then we review songs that have been submitted to us.
Wow, that's actually sweet. Yeah, I love that.
And so that way, I have my talented. I listen to the song beforehand and give my critical feedback. But the artists that I bring in, it's a first time blind listen.
Okay.
So it's whatever they have to say and then whatever I have to say as also a composer and production person.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that's been a lot of fun. We do that with albums and singles, so you can go over and sign up for that, or you can go check out our Songwriter Studio, which which of our first one included Ronnie, and that is a show where we grab 3 or 4 others in the music area. We send them here and we force them very harshly, as Ronnie knows.
Oh yeah,
to write a song within an hour, and we've had 5 of them so far. We're having our 6th tomorrow at 9 p.m. with Liam Galliano, Amber Nadine, and Casey Walton, and they've all been really good. They've all been really, really good. So I'm really excited to keep that going. Otherwise, this week, we have a few others. We have Marshall Stone coming in tomorrow on Tuesday at 10 a.m. He is a northerner PA person who does a lot of punk, a lot of rock. So I'm really excited for him. He's been CPMA nominated a few times, so I'm excited to hear from him. this Thursday. We have Ben Vo, incredible blues player, incredible guitar player. I'm excited to hear him and finally meet up with him. Otherwise, this coming weekend we have Earth Festival, so I'm going out to a Hanover area to go camping, and we have a lot of musical acts that are going to be going on over there. So be sure to tune in for their documentation.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, that
With
sounds
all-
amazing.
Yeah. With all that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
See you guys. Thanks, Cory.
Bye.